Good morning, church. It is good to be with you today. And today I want to talk about Revelation chapter 6. And we're going to take this kind of in a big chunk because there's not a lot of reason to, or devotional reason, to dig into each and every one of these. What I want to talk about first is the overarching idea of God's judgment. And we see that the seals on this scroll of judgment are beginning to be opened by the Lamb who was slain, the one who was worthy, Jesus Christ, who was and is to come. And as we read through this book of Revelation, this prophecy, we see unveiling 3 sets of 7 judgments in each one. And one of the questions that comes is, do we see this as like a series of chronological judgments? Are these all just kind of general signs of judgment? How do we see these? And I prefer to see them, and you are welcome to have a different view of these things, but I tend to see them as symbolic of God's perfect judgment. As we've talked about the numerology of Revelation, 7 and 3 both being perfect or complete numbers. And so 3 sets of 7 judgments would indicate a perfect, a whole, a complete judgment upon sin and upon those who are rebelling against God. And when we get to the 6th seal, as you've read, all the mountains are flattened, the sky is cracked open, and the face of God is revealed, kind of the end of all things kind of stuff. And so that makes me think that maybe as we're walking through Revelation, what we're seeing is kind of these events that are on top of each other as we're pressing through. But what's good to keep in mind is that these are indeed an indication of the perfect judgment of God upon sin. And we have war and the death that comes from war. We have famine, we have plague and other things that are coming. These are all in God's arsenal of judgment. But what I want to look at very briefly with you is the 5th seal. And we have these that have been slaughtered and are under the throne of God. And they cry out, or they're under the altar, they're under the altar, and they cry out with a loud voice, Lord, the one who is holy and true, how long until you judge those who live on the earth and avenge our blood? And they're told to wait just a little bit. And this reminds me that even the saints that are in heaven are seen crying out, how long, Lord, until the fullness of your judgment comes? And they're just told to be patient, wait a little bit longer, trust in the work of Christ. And church, that's the real devotional thought today. Sometimes we want to cry out and say, how long, Lord, until you come and handle all this stuff? And he is telling us, just be patient, trust me. So let's walk all of our days in the trust of the Lord our God and pursue him with our whole heart. And if we do that, all of the other things, all of the other worries take such a back seat. They're not a concern of ours because we are loving him now, trusting him now. I love you, church, and I'll look forward to talking to you soon again.